On this episode, we review our recent trip and in part 2, talk about our DV stay at the Polynesian, a stop at Narcoossee's, and dinner at California Grill. Today is May 7th, 2024. This is episode 665 of the Main Street Magic Podcast.
Jeremy and Rhonda are more than a little fond of Disney World, so they made this podcast to share it all with you. Reports and resorts, top 10 lists of all sorts. Main Street Magic's bringing it home for you.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Main Street Magic. I'm your host, Jeremy Stein, and as always, I'm joined by my lovely wife, Rhonda.
Hey, guys.
Make sure you check us out on the web at mainstmagic.com, as well as follow on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at mainstmagic. If you've not done so already, head out to Facebook and search for the Main Street Magic community and ask to join. And if you go ahead and hit that subscribe button, you get brand new episodes every Tuesday and Friday. Then if you're getting ready to plan that trip to Disneyland or Walt Disney World, you did not get the dining that you so desperately wanted, have no fear because Mouse Dining removes the frustration of booking Disney dining reservations, alerting you when they spot availability for your desired restaurant, date, meal, and time. Visit msmfriends.com to use this free service. And then finally, if you are planning that next trip to a Disney park, maybe to Universal, you're looking to go on a cruise or pretty much travel anywhere else in the world, head out to mainstmagictravel.com and fill out a form for a free quote.
So today we are talking a lot of stuff again.
Whew.
Hopefully it won't be 2 hours.
We'll see. Hopefully.
But
maybe there's people that are hoping it's another 2-hour episode.
maybe.
In hindsight, we would have probably split that one up, but we were already splitting it.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll
and now
see,
we have to
we'll
record
see how this one
3
goes.
times today.
We do. Yeah.
And we have to pack.
I'm sure we'll get into that over these couple episodes because we are recording. It's Sunday.
So it's May 7th coming out. So May the 4th be with you. We've done that. Happy Cinco de Mayo.
Happy Cinco de Mayo today. Happy Mother's Day. We'll probably say that on an upcoming episode. We're going to do a Mother's Day episode.
All right. Well, let's get into today.
Just get into
it's
this
not
one. All right.
4 hours. So we are going to talk about Sunday after everything, and we got to check into the Poly. Are we skipping over the awards and everything? That was a great morning.
Yeah, we had a wonderful morning at Give Kids the World.
Yep.
With breakfast, and we announced the awards and whoever everybody that won last episode. So you can go back and hear that one to get all the updates on Main Street 16. We're working on a date for next year, but Give Kids the World was gracious and hosted in Julie's Safari Theater.
That was
the
cool.
awards ceremony, which was amazing. So from there, though, we did head to the Polynesian.
We did.
To check in for 2 nights for a vacation.
Yes.
Which I'm sure people are laughing at because we go to Disney a lot. It's not always a vacation.
No, it's not.
So this was a time, even though we did a bunch of things and got content and all, we did get a lot of opportunities to just relax.
We did.
So let's start with Polly and checking in.
Yeah. So we all had, it was me, Chuck, Amy, and Jeremy, and we all had our Be Nice to Cast members shirts on. We checked in and our rooms weren't ready, so we were going to go get something to eat at Captain Cook's, which is nice. Captain Cook's is open from 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. We've actually had quite a bit of food here, but we did not have the Thai coconut meatballs. This is house-made all-beef chili garlic meatballs cooked in a coconut cream served over white rice for $10.49.
Yeah, we love the pulled pork nachos here.
We do.
Which Amy and Chuck got gluten-friendly.
Yep.
We love the noodles here, even though they are different than the ones up at Tambu here. They're still very good. They got a little more going on with them. They're not just
they have like vegetables
straight noodles. Yeah, vegetables and stuff with them. And it was really great because when Amy was, figuring out the gluten allergy and all, the chef came right out.
Yep.
She even gave him a hug.
Yes.
He was so thankful that he could,
make and he was just amazing. This interaction in Captain Cook's with all the cast members were actually unbelievably incredible.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the meatballs first, and then we'll talk about our major cast member interaction. How did you like these? It's 3 good portion size meatballs.
Yes.
On top of white rice, and it's got this coconut cream sauce.
I liked it. I think it was weird looking because it is a coconut cream sauce. So, usually you expect like a red sauce or something. So they looked different.
Very bland looking. It's very one note.
Yes. But I liked it actually. I thought it was nice and light.
Mm-hmm. It was.
And the meatballs were good and tasty. Like I think it was just a great, like, I think it was around noonish, so it's starting to get hot outside. I thought it was a great hold me over because I knew we were going to eat later. So I was like, I thought it was a great hold me over snack at that time outside eating.
Yeah.
Personally.
And it's funny you say snack because I had this on my snack list, even though it's a meal. But when we're splitting it, I knew it would be a little bit more of a snack.
Right.
I didn't love it. I thought it was okay. The texture of the meatballs was super weird. It's just popped in my head. I was trying to figure out a way to explain the way the meatballs were cooked. And it was almost as if they were done as a sous vide. Because there was, like, if you were to pan fry meatballs and finish them in an oven or straight up oven bake them, like, you're going to get a certain texture on the outside compared to the inside. These were interesting.
But praise God, we didn't get sick.
No, and they were fully cooked because you could tell by cutting into them, but they almost had a texture of not being fully cooked. The meat, as though it was almost extremely over processed. If that makes sense. If you had told me, and it wasn't, if you had told me this was a plant-based meatball, I would have believed you in a heartbeat just based on the texture.
Okay.
It was almost as though the meat before forming these meatballs was blended up into like almost a paste. Like if you think of taking a meatball, a house-made meatball, or just meatballs in general, and when you cut them, they have this vision in your mind. This wasn't it. So the texture for me was weird.
Okay.
If you don't love coconut, you can still enjoy this. It's not. It's just it tastes very tropical. Yeah. Not necessarily overpowering in the coconut flavors. I thought the cream sauce was pretty good. I mean, I was about to say you can't go wrong with white rice, but you can, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. But yeah, I mean, overall, I thought it was fine. I wouldn't personally get it again. I think it could be a lot better if the consistency and the preparation of the meatball was done better.
I think I would get it again.
You would?
I think.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I would just opt for the nachos or noodles next time.
Yeah.
But again, I'm going by texture only. The overall flavors I thought worked well.
Yep.
I did enjoy it. It was just that textural thing that was weird.
Okay.
But while
I don't have a textural thing.
No, you don't. But we had a lot of compliments on our shirts from the moment we checked in to the moment we got down to Captain Cook's. And one cast member in particular, who was one of the managers on duty, said something to us while we were getting our food and ordering and waiting and all. And we went and we found a table outside. It was beautiful outside.
Yeah, it was.
You know, and this was probably just shy of getting to noon, so it was just perfect. And so we found a table for 4, and then Randy, who was that manager, came out to speak to us, and he just thanked us repeatedly for the shirts and the sentiment and all that. He had asked first. He came out and asked what type of desserts we liked because he had already noted from inside that there was a allergy. So Amy told him that, and then he came back with an allergy-friendly dessert for her.
It was fruit.
Yeah, it was fruit. She asked for fruit, didn't she? When he said that there were some options.
And then,
And then he brought 2 cupcakes.
He did.
For the rest of us.
He did.
Said on the house, thank you so much. Appreciate you guys. And we chatted with him for several minutes. And this interaction was the exact reason why we do these shirts.
Absolutely.
Because you could tell here's somebody who loves working for Disney more than anything. And he loves his guests and he loves the people, but he gets a lot of crap. And especially, we've said this before, like as a Jim, guest experience manager, usually if your interaction with guests is self-imposed, you have chosen that interaction. It's a positive interaction. If a guest is coming to you or a cast member is calling on you for a guest, chances are that's starting as a negative interaction, right?
Yeah.
Because you're there to fix. And that's what they do a wonderful job of. But you could just tell in his voice and everything that he was so thankful and that he's seen some stuff. I mean, he even mentioned,
told us story.
Within that week that there was somebody that was an ECV that came up to Captain Cook's and went right to the front of the line almost as though it was like at a bus, because ECVs get that different area to go park at.
Right.
So that the bus driver knows immediately, hey, we have an ECV, we got to load them first and all that. And a cast member told this person, like, I'm so sorry, you're going to have to get, in the regular line.
Right.
And that escalated to the point of them throwing their drink at the cast member.
And alcoholic drink.
Yes.
And it was super just sad.
And you could hear it in his voice as he told the story.
Oh, yeah.
That it was, that's emotional for you as a manager to see that with one of your employees. He talked about last Thanksgiving that he interacted with hundreds of guests that day. And one of them was like, hey, just thank you for being here. Thank you for taking time away from your family and everything that you've got going on to work today.
Yep.
To be here making magic for us. And so it was awesome, like to have that interaction and chat with him. And, it was just great. But Captain Cook's is top tier quick service restaurant.
Yep.
Hands down. So what about the 2 cupcakes that we got? What did he bring us?
Well, it was awesome. He brought us a Moana cupcake and a pineapple cupcake. They are both $6.79, and the Moana one was a vanilla cupcake, toasted coconut mousse filling, buttercream, coconut flakes, and white chocolate Moana piece with a fresh orchid. The pineapple cupcake is a vanilla cupcake, Dole Whip pineapple cheesecake, and pineapple buttercream with a white chocolate decor.
Let's start with Moana.
Let's start with Moana.
It was a good cupcake. I have to say,
it was.
Disney's cupcakes
you have said this
are really
multiple
good
times.
now.
Yes.
I think they're wonderful.
Yes,
they finally went from taking something that looks really good on Instagram to making it taste good.
Right. Correct.
And I love their cupcakes.
Yes. So the Moana one was good. It's got the toasted coconut flakes where we don't like, because then later we feel like they're in our teeth and stuff. It was good, but here's the hard part. It was up against the pineapple cupcake and that Dole Whip cheesecake. This cupcake
first.
was outstanding. So if you love Dole Whip and you're there at what's that
Pineapple Lanai.
Yes, if you're there and you like don't want the ice cream type and you actually you want like a cupcake, Dole Whip, go get this pineapple cupcake because it was just amazing.
It's one of my favorite cupcakes we've had at Disney.
Holy moly.
It's way
So
up
good.
there. It's
I
just
was
amazing
sad
to
for
me how
Amy
they
'cause she couldn't take
it's
taste
amazing
it.
to me how they encapsulated
Oh my gosh.
that flavor of Dole Whip. I mean, let's be honest, the only thing you're missing is the coldness of a frozen treat. And these are still obviously cold because they're refrigerated.
But they were kind of cold.
We just, we get the Dole Whip from Costco and it's really good.
Kaylin
But
loves it.
this is better as Dole Whip than the Costco frozen Dole Whip as Dole Whip.
Course.
You know what I mean?
Of course.
It's might be my favorite cupcake there now.
Yeah. I'm like, I might have to like make a stop.
I know.
Specifically. It was so good.
Will. This is worth leaving Magic Kingdom and
Yeah.
going to get,
Mhm.
and you can still have your Dole Whip as well.
Mhm.
Like this, I loved.
Mhm.
Highly, highly recommend.
Uh-huh.
So our room was ready. We went down to the pool. We're hanging at the pool for a little bit,
Mhm.
and we'll actually talk about that first before we get into the room. They have a wonderful barefoot pool bar right there.
Yes, they do.
At the main pool area, and it includes, a full bar, non-alcoholic beverages. It's got food that we'll talk about a little bit later.
Mhm.
What did you get from their specialty? Because it's not on the everyday menu. Like if you go online and look at the
Yeah.
menu, it's not there. This was like a separate placard listing all these frozen beverages.
And I was kind of excited because it was called a frozen watermelon Dole Whip martini. So it is Grey Goose vodka with watermelon Dole Whip and green watermelon sugar crystals. But when she started to give it to me, and for $17,
Mhm.
when she started to give it to me, she said, "It's kind of sweet. Is that okay?" And I'm like, because I don't like something too sweet. So instead of the green watermelon sugar crystals, I actually opted for salt.
Mhm.
And holy moly, was it
Was it good?
fantastic to
Yeah.
me. That sweetness of the watermelon Dole Whip. And by the way, any of these could have been made non-alcoholic because they actually put them together.
Mhm.
So I watched her pour the Grey Goose in, and then, get the watermelon Dole Whip out of the frozen things that it's in. So I am that type of person that eats apples with salt. A lot of people will do sugar, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
I love, because you get a good apple, and if it's sweet, it's that salty sweet. Oh my gosh. A lot of people do with watermelon. I've never done that except with this, because she said it was kind of sweet, on the sweeter side, and it was just outstanding. And
you know what I wonder would have been good with this is tahini.
Oh,
Rimmed
probably.
with tahini
Do you
probably would have
know
been good.
that when we got the girls' mango today?
Yeah, it comes with a
little
little packet
package.
of tahini.
Mhm.
Yeah, that they can put on it, because
Yep.
Kaylin's like, I'm not doing that. I'll just eat the mango. Yeah, I almost got the non-alcoholic one, but I was like, you know what? She's already tasting it. And I saw this described as almost a frozen watermelon Jolly Rancher.
Yeah,
is
probably.
what I like. A lot of the
It was
reviews
really
I
good.
saw when I was looking up for the notes. I went with their lava smoothie. This is raspberry puree blended with flavors of coconut and pineapple for $6.29.
Mhm.
And this actually, this is something good to note if you don't know it. The non-alcoholic beverages compared to the alcoholic beverages are both served in clear plastic cups. The non-alcoholic ones have characters, silhouettes printed around the top.
Yep.
So she let us know that, I guess, just in case there was any sort of confusion. But that's great for people that don't drink alcohol, or children. But it was just kind of
Children,
funny. She's
yeah.
like, just so you know, the non-alcoholic ones have the characters around them, and that is just funny to me, because I'm just like, okay, I'll make note of that. Thank you. I'll make sure that Rhonda doesn't accidentally drink it. This was so good.
Good.
It was just a perfect smoothie. It's a sit by the pool at the Polynesian smoothie is the best way to describe it.
Yeah.
It's tropical.
Yep.
It's delicious. Their smoothies hold up in the heat.
Yeah.
So, a lot of places you'll go to get a smoothie or something like that, and after a few minutes, you're just drinking liquid. And this
Yeah.
really stayed frozen the entire time I had it, and I loved it. Like, I would get it, and vice versa. You could add alcohol to any of these.
Mhm.
Like a lava smoothie with a shot of rum, I bet would be amazing.
Yeah.
So, and they've got a whole bunch of other Dole Whip ones there. They've got a Dole Whip lime frozen.
That was like a
martini
margarita.
margarita.
Yeah.
And then they have other, different non-alcoholic frozen cocktails and all, or mocktails, I should say. All right, let's move on to getting into the room and talking about, because this was our first time staying in a DVC studio at Poly.
Oh, yeah.
The
that's
past
right.
one we stayed, which was which we had club level, was a standard, Poly cash room, which are awesome because they're all big. But talk about the DVC one, because this
was very interesting.
This is a very interesting layout to me. So I'm interested to discuss it. The pros and the cons.
Yeah. So when you walk in onto your right side, you have two barn door things. That one leads to a very large open room with a toilet,
a full bath,
stand-up shower, full bath. Yeah. Two sinks.
Full bath.
Or no, one sink.
One sink.
But it's huge.
Yeah. Shower tub combo.
Yeah.
Toilet and room for a dance party.
Yes.
It's very large.
It is.
Let's say this. If you are traveling with a young one who is in a porta-crib, it will fit in here with space.
Yeah.
Which I think is a great advantage if you have young ones to this room layout, is you could put them in here when you just want to sit out and enjoy the rest of your evening and they have to go to bed. You could put them in there.
Yeah,
now, the issue is you're going to have to
go to
sneak
the
by them if you have to
bathroom.
go to the bathroom.
And then flushing the toilet.
Correct. So that is, and I'm thinking more of the kid goes to bed at 8. You want to stay up and hang out till 10 in the room. You put him in there.
And you just hold it. Don't go to the bathroom.
You just
for 2
hold
hours.
it for 2 hours, I guess. And then when it's time for everyone to go to bed, you could either move them out or whatever. But there is that space. But then
how are you going to move them out?
What's next to this?
A half bath, as I guess you would call it, with a sink and a beautiful shower. Very small, though, to me, compared to the large bathroom
Well, yeah, because it's
connected,
a stand-up shower
but
only, but it's got
not connected.
yeah, it's got a regular shower head, and then it's got a range shower head up top.
Mhm.
You can switch between. It's got one sink. It is a smaller half bath size. So
Mhm.
you have 1.5 baths in a studio,
Mhm.
which I knew about. Like I knew that they had these. I just had never seen one in
Yeah.
person. I mean, if we move through the rest of the room, then we can get back to bathroom talk, maybe. You have your little DVC kitchenette area with a larger fridge. You have a microwave.
Yep.
You have full-size coffee maker,
Little sink.
toaster, sink there. So 3 sinks in this room,
Mhm.
right? You have a wardrobe closet area.
Mhm.
Then you open up into your queen-size bed.
Mhm.
You've got side tables, a couch/Murphy bed
Mhm.
that will come down for additional sleeping.
And
You have a
then
pull-down 5th sleeper from
Mhm.
underneath the TV.
Yep.
You have a table and 2 chairs. You have a balcony. These rooms are huge.
yes,
They really, really are.
yes, they are.
And I love the size of these rooms.
Mhm.
And I personally, I don't see the need for 1.5 bath for. I mean, I'm even trying to think. Okay,
I just don't understand it.
It does make sense. It's completely useless for 2 people. Let's say that. For you and I, there was 0 reason to have 1.5 baths in this
Right.
room. Doesn't hurt anything. We used the full bath to go to the bathroom, and that was it. And then we used the half bath to shower because that rain head was incredible.
And it's just beautiful. It's like
It
all
is.
like rock like.
It is.
Like there's
gorgeous.
like it's just
And
yeah.
that full bath is much more
Just
simple.
a tub. Yeah.
We used the sink. I mean, we used the half bath for everything but going to the
Well,
bathroom.
and in the half bath is the nice light up mirror
Yeah.
that I can do makeup, and I can also turn it around and it be larger.
Yeah. But I look ahead. If the girls had been with us, and again, this room will sleep up to 5 with that 5th sleeper pull down. If the girls had been with us, having 2 showers and 2 sinks would be really, really nice.
Yeah.
I will say that. So for the 2 of us, I think better use could be made of this space. I don't know what you would do with it.
Well,
Unless you put a king bed in here. You blew out that half bath. You made a nicer full bath with 2 sinks. You could still have
I would do a water closet
Okay, you could do that.
because that's the hardest part when somebody's using the restroom. It's unusable.
But if it's just the 2 of us, it's not that big of a deal, is my thought. This
Well,
is where
right,
coming to
I'm-
4 people, that's
what I mean.
This makes a big difference when it comes to 4 people.
Yeah.
You're not finding this anywhere else. I mean, heck, when you have 4 people, the family suites at Art of Animation are amazing because they have 2 full baths.
Yeah.
If you have 4 people and if you had 4 adults, if you
Yeah.
had been sharing a room with Chuck and Amy, then this makes so much more sense where 2 couples can be getting ready at the exact same time with showers and sinks.
Yeah.
Now, again, that brings us back to, depending on your staying here, and we talked about this at the Spring Hill Suites with that weird split bath.
Mm-hmm.
If you are the type that likes to unrobe and use the toilet before getting into the shower, you could still do that. You would just be using that shower tub combo. But like if we were there with the girls and I was going to shower, I would be using the half bath and the stand up, which means that I would have to do my business and then come
Lord,
dressed
here we go.
out and back in is all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
So, but overall, 1.5 baths, 1 bathrooms aside, I love these rooms.
Mhm. Very nice.
So much.
Yep.
We had a view kind of just overlooking some walkway, some other buildings, and some landscaping, which was beautiful.
Mhm.
I mean, if you're going to have a view that isn't staring at the water or the castle, this is the one to have.
Yeah.
Because on the other side of the building, you would have been staring at parking lot.
Correct.
So I loved this room. I absolutely loved it. The decor, the colors, it's the ocean. I thought it was amazing. Yeah. It's my favorite DVC studio we've stayed in.
Okay.
Even with the weird bathroom situations. Because the thing is, even if you blew out that half bath and you had all that extra space, there's really nothing to do with it. You know what I mean? Because you already had a couch that you could sit on and chill and watch TV.
Yep.
You already had a table with 2 chairs, which provided plenty of space.
Yep.
You had an additional 2 chairs and a small table outside on the balcony.
Mm-hmm.
So there's nothing else to really do at that space. So I think that's why it works so well.
Yeah.
If that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
So
do you want to talk about the bungalow? Because we actually got to go through that.
yeah, when we get to it.
Oh, okay. I didn't know you were
Yeah, you got to stick with the notes.
I didn't know.
If we don't have,
because that was the
if
coolest
we don't have
thing.
notes, we won't get through this because there's so much
That's true.
going on. So let's move on because that evening we had dinner at 7:45 at California Grill.
Yes, we did.
The four of us. Because now we're doing these 2 nights. They were in the room next to us, the connecting room where Chuck and Amy, and which you can get, which is great.
Yep.
So at that point you're looking at having a 2-bedroom, 2 and 2 half baths. I mean, really. So we I wanted to stop by Narcoossee's on the way because we're gonna have to take the monorail around to California Grill anyway.
Yeah.
And our friend Chris was working. I had been texting with him, and I was like, we were thinking about just stopping by, saying hello, sitting at the bar for a little bit, and before we head to California Grill. He's like, yes, open at 5, come on over. And so we went to stop at Narcoossee's. We all got dressed up a little bit.
We did.
This was our Tommy Bahama
Yep.
evening for you
Yep.
and I.
Yep.
Stopped at Narcoossee's, and they set us up. There's 3, the bar area is not huge, and it is first come, first serve.
Correct.
If you want to sit at the bar area and have a meal and drinks and all, you can, but I would get there 4:45-ish if you want to be on the earlier side. Otherwise, you might see a wait. But where did they have room for us?
On the very end where I was sitting up above everybody, and then for wheelchairs, basically.
Yeah, wheelchair
correct?
acceptable. There's a space for 3 additional chairs there.
Mhm.
So we sat there at Narcoossee's for a little while and got to catch up with Chris and all.
Yep.
You went Dirty Martini.
Yeah, because I was just gonna have one drink and then move on. So I was like, that'll be nice to sip on, and
We highly recommended the lobster bisque to Chuck and Amy, which they got, and they absolutely loved.
I was like, I'm pretty sure there should be no gluten in it, but she checked and she was like, that is on my list. And I was like, dude, I know we're eating at California Grill, but it's just soup.
Yeah.
So it was amazing because they got it, and they have already, I think, possibly made in a when they come back. I think in July they have booked a night.
Well, they're still without, or 60 days out. But again, that's what's great, that bar is always an option there. So they went ahead and got the lobster bisque. They do have 2 zero proof mocktails that are on the menus of all of Grand Floridian's restaurants. Because we would see them again at 1900 Park Fair. And I saw them listed somewhere else as well. We'll talk about one of them later, but the one that I got was the Agave Garden. So this is Lyre's Agave Reserva Spirit. That is a zero proof non-alcoholic spirit. I actually have some here. That's of a different flavor. They make a bunch of different ones. Cold pressed lime juice, passion fruit, papaya green tea, and cucumber for $12. It comes with a sliced jalapeno, sliced jalapeno on top. This tastes like a spicy margarita, like a jalapeno margarita.
Nice.
And it was super good.
Nice.
It was really, really good.
Good.
Chris came around and we were talking to Chris for a little bit, and we were just catching up and all because we hadn't seen him in a couple months. It had been probably more 5-6 months, I feel like, that we had last stopped by, and we went with Lucy and Caleb. I have to look at when that was. So we were chatting with him a little bit, and we were just catching up and all. He had actually just done, if you saw, you might have seen some on social media, I saw pop up, he did the cast member canoe races over around Tom Sawyer's Island.
Yes.
On the Rivers of America area over there. So he was telling us about that. And then, he's like, so what else is new? I was like, well, I'm sober now. And he was like, and Rhonda said she thought she saw him eyeballing my drink because, I mean, let's be honest, Chris is one of those folks that knows the drinking Jeremy very well because we met him as a bartender at Bar Riva.
Correct.
And anytime since then, anytime we go see him, we're drinking.
Yes.
It was interesting though because he was telling us about the zero proof stuff, and I was talking to him. I was like, it's really nice that there's like these zero proof mocktails, and kind of like we talked last episode. And he said he's really seeing like a trend in the bar world of zero proof for the simple
they're actually
fact,
coming more too.
Yeah. He was saying that the industry looks like potentially in 10 years that non-alcoholic and zero proof could outsell alcoholic in some areas because of younger generations. And it makes sense once he said it.
Which is crazy,
We're not a
but
younger
amazing.
generation.
No, we're not.
Younger generations are very health conscious, shopping at Trader Joe's and Whole Foods and very, looking at organic and non-preservatives and those types of things. So, and to be honest, younger generations are often doing other things in social situations. We'll say, especially with the legality of, certain things across the country now and accessibility to certain products and all.
Yeah.
So younger generations are steering more towards that and than they are heavily sugar and alcohol based drinks. So I thought that was extremely interesting. It'll be interesting to see how that trend goes, but that just means that there's going to be stuff for everyone, I think, moving forward.
Yeah,
so if you look 10 years
nice.
back, you could barely sit down and find, non-alcoholic beverages, beers, wines, things like that. You're seeing more of them. Hopefully you see even more in the future, just so everybody has an opportunity to get whatever the heck it is they want. So
Correct.
I found that interesting, but we love Narcoossee's.
Yeah.
I highly recommend it as a stop, whether you're going to sit down and dine at the bar there, whether you're going to get a reservation, use msmfriends.com and mouse dining if you can't find one. But it's a great spot just to head if you're going to any of those monorail resorts. Stop here before you go to Citrico's or Victoria and Albert's, because if you're going there, then what's a few extra bucks grabbing some drinks or an appetizer from here, right?
Right.
Let's talk California Grill.
Yay. All right, so let's do our normal bullet points, which is dining located in your Disney's Contemporary Resort. This is American seafood and sushi. This is fine/signature dining. Your discounts, dining plans, meals are not accepted. Annual pass does get 10%, and the time is 5 p.m. to 10 p.m.
Yeah, so we have not done the prefix. We
haven't.
They reopened after COVID with the 50th anniversary and did the 50th prefix menu, and then once that went away, they moved to this prefix menu of your selections. So you have a bunch of different selections that you can get from your appetizer first course to your entree second course and your third course of dessert. Now this is going to run $89 per adult, and it is going to run $39 per child age 3 to 9. Those do not include tax or gratuity.
Correct.
As an adult, you can add a signature wine pairing for $41 per person or deluxe wine pairing for $72 per person. We, of course, did not do those.
No.
And I'll be honest, if I was still drinking wine, I don't know that I would do that. The 41 maybe. But
yeah, I could see.
Because they're going to pair you up with each course.
I could see the 41, and I could see myself doing it. But yeah, no.
Do you have any boxed wine you could pair and just give you an extra $22 per person?
No.
How's that? So anyway, so we had Mark as our server. He was amazing.
He was.
And I have to just say we had the best seat in the house.
Yes, we did. We had the same seat that we had with Jill and Steve for our brunch
so many years ago.
Yeah, amazing.
But so if you're familiar with California Grill, when you come out of the elevator,
it's the first seat going on.
Yeah, you veer around to the right a little bit as you were to head to the door where you will exit for the viewing platform, right?
Yep.
It's that table to the left of the door.
Yep.
The table next to it's pretty good, and the table next to that are pretty good, but the one we were at, I gotta say, is number one.
Oh, it was amazing.
You were staring straight into Magic Kingdom.
Yep.
Like you're far enough away that you can see everything. You can see Magic Kingdom pretty much as a whole.
Yeah, you can see down Main Street.
Right?
You can see,
but you're also close enough that you can like almost see details. Like you can see people in a way, and it looks like ants, but still like you can just, it's almost like this bird's eye view of a model.
Yeah, because I just started to say when the monorail comes around, I feel like I can take and like put my fingers on it, and I'm taking it. But it's this giant monorail. It was super cool because we were legitimately sitting as this sun was starting to set, where Mark even was like, "I'll be right back. I'm gonna let you watch the sunset." And they said a few minutes, and holy crap! Within a minute or two, it literally set. It was super cool.
Yeah.
It was gorgeous. We were watching the lights come on. And then to jump ahead, we actually got before our dessert, got to just sit and watch. And we didn't have to be out in the coolness of the wind and the air and all the people that came back.
Yeah,
Holy
to watch
moly.
Happily Ever After.
Oh yeah, sorry if I didn't say that, which everybody knows
Yeah.
what I'm talking about.
And yeah, obviously they pump the music in there.
Ugh.
And same thing, Mark is just like, hey, you know what? I'll come back for your dessert order. It's like,
And it was just like I said,
just sit and watch.
Yeah,
And-
super cool because we didn't have to get up. I mean, he was like, you can,
Yeah.
but our seat was obviously amazing that we didn't have to. And I loved just sitting there. So
It was so nice.
oh yeah.
This seat was perfection.
Yep,
it
it
just
was.
would add to the entire evening. And then we'll start talking food because you have your first course, which is your market inspirations. They have the Sonoma goat cheese ravioli, which is slightly different, but similar to what we've had so many times in the past.
Yes.
We
And
love this.
This is where I said Jeremy's gonna order for me.
I literally ordered everything for Rhonda. She was
Because
just like, yeah, what are we getting?
I knew that whatever you got, I would like, but it was funny because I had mentioned the goat cheese ravioli and you were like, we've had that. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, fine.
So we've had that. They have a sashimi and nigiri sampler, pomegranate and apple salad, Sardinian pizza that has Italian sausage, squash, smoked mozzarella. They've got several different sushi rolls. One of those being the Wagyu surf and turf roll, which is shrimp tempura, blue crab yuzu salad, avocado, house-made hot sauce, and a yuzu avocado puree, which is what we got.
Yes.
How did you like the sushi roll?
It was really good. I didn't know what you got really until now, like reading it. And yeah, I mean, it was fantastic.
This is where
It was beautiful.
As much as we love cowfish, I am not a huge fan of their fusion rolls.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, this is very much a fusion style roll. And I loved it. I thought it was their sushi's really good. And this is, if they were still doing their standard a la carte style menu and it wasn't prefixed, this is a $25 to $28 roll by California Grill's pricing.
Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah.
It's fresh. It was. It's absolutely delicious.
Yep.
Chuck got the spicy kazan roll,
Yep.
which is crab, shrimp, scallops, tuna, and fireball sauce that he really enjoyed. Then we also went with, because again, we're talking 2 appetizers for Rhonda and I. So I also got the rapini pizza. This is a broccoli rapini, candied bacon, and then piquillo pepper coulis. Did you ever end up? You had?
Yeah,
a piece
I
there,
did.
right?
It was really good. It's nice and lightly, basically like a thin crust.
Mhm.
Yeah, I thought it was really good. I just didn't want much. I almost didn't want to eat it because I knew I still had 3 more courses.
I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. Amongst all the pizzas that I ate during this time, which I think this made my 3rd
Oh my goodness.
during this trip, it's really, really good.
Yeah.
It has zero business being on a prefix appetizer menu because it is a personal pizza.
It is.
It's 10 to 12 inches across.
Yeah.
It's a meal.
Yeah.
And
I was shocked when it came and I said,
I was too.
you got a pizza?
Yeah. And again, I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it should be on this. Like, it's so good that I wanted to eat it. Like, it ended up some going to waste because there's no
you
way
didn't eat
that
it
as an
cold?
individual person, and I know we're splitting stuff, but that means 2 appetizers. There's no way I'm eating this entire pizza
And then eating
and then
2 more
moving on to an
courses?
entree and a dessert.
Oh, Lord.
So if they could have done this in a way where maybe it was like smaller bites or just a smaller overall pizza,
2
because
pieces?
it was cut into 6 pieces. Rhonda and I each ate 1 there. They're smaller pieces, but we each ate 1 there.
Mm-hmm.
I took the other 4 back to the room. I think I ate 1 cold, and then we brought it home. I brought the remaining 3 pieces home.
You did?
And before I threw it out, because I wasn't going to get to it, I took like a bite or 2 cold, but I felt wasted.
Yeah.
And that was my only thing that I didn't care for. If you could go sit at the California Grill bar and order just this for like $18, sign me up.
Yeah.
Do it every time. It's a lot better than that potato chip pizza they used to have that I had last time.
Right.
But it's a good pizza. Just know what you're getting into. Now, again, with that being said, you've spent the money. If this is an $18 to $20 plus pizza on top of You know, the fact that they're doing $25 rolls. I mean, some of the other stuff that's on here, the goat cheese ravioli, I bet you could charge $18. Like, you're already paying your money, so having leftovers isn't a bad thing. It only is when you're not going to make use of them.
Right.
You know, if we had the next day for lunch, I had been like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and eat the rest of this pizza. Great. But the fact is I ended up having to throw some away.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the chef's journey, which are our entrees.
Well, Amy, real quick, got a salad. It's not on here, but it was like a beet salad.
Yeah.
And she really liked it. So it was, I guess, on her gluten-free menu, and she really enjoyed it.
So, yeah, on the chef's journey, you get to choose from, they've got a cast iron grilled pork tenderloin, grouper, snapper. They do have a Wagyu strip loin for an added $47, which I would have loved to have
I asked
got,
you if you
but
were going to.
I did not. What did you end up getting? Because here again is where MainStreetFoodie.com is when that launches, and all the work that John Self is doing is going to come in handy because Disney's menus online are not always updated. And for some odd reason, because every time I sit down now, I take a photo of the menu and I send it to John just in case he needs that for his database. And I did not for some reason because what you got is not on the online menu. And I do not have documentation of it because
but we have a picture.
I was just trying to enjoy myself.
Yeah. So Jeremy told me that I was getting the lamb because he got the filet. So I was fine with lamb. I love lamb. This had I think it's some couscous with it. Mushrooms and carrots and some like possibly avocado cream dots. And then he had this little cup that it was a red wine, cooked down thick sauce that
the reduction
he poured over the lamb, and then set some aside and said, there's more. These like almost flower looking mushrooms, which were super cool and
They're,
really good.
Chanterelle.
Well, they were very good.
Style. Yeah.
So the lamb was not like lamb, like a rack of lamb.
Yeah.
So it was different by itself, and it was almost kind of like it was actually crusted and wrapped and then cut, and there was only 2 pieces. And by itself it was fine. It wasn't bad, it just wasn't fantastic, but then when you ate it all together, it was really good.
Well, good.
So unfortunately, tasting yours, I would have I wouldn't get this again.
I didn't like yours.
Yeah.
I didn't. The lamb was cooked properly. And
the
lamb was good, but like you said, it almost had this crust on the outside that wasn't crusty. It was like, it was weird. It was soft. It was, you know what I mean?
It was just
Here's what it almost was like. Whatever they were encrusting this lamb with, it was almost as though they cooked the lamb, and after it was cooked, they rolled it in this and served it, as opposed to crusting it and then cooking it with the crust. So you would have had a crispy exterior and then that nice like tender lamb inside. I didn't care for this. I didn't think it was a good dish myself personally.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I'm glad that you did enjoy it for what it was, but
I did.
You're even saying you wouldn't get it again.
I did enjoy it for what it was, but unfortunately, because yours was so good, I would not get it again.
Well, here's what I'll say overall, just real quick. Appetizers, they knocked it out of the park. Desserts, they knocked it out of the park. I think they failed on entrees for us too, personally.
Yeah.
So I went. I went with the oak grilled fillet of beef. It comes with roasted onion cream, potato pave, a charred cannellini, and a Cabernet veal like au jus. Had it done medium rare. The steak. It's a good portion of steak. It has the Cabernet veal au jus on top of it. The steak was outstanding.
Yeah, it
The
was.
steak was super good. I don't think it needed the Cabernet sauce, but it was good and it did add to it well. It didn't take anything away from it, but I don't think it was necessary. It's a great cut of meat. It was cooked to perfection. It was absolutely delicious. It might as well have been the only thing on my plate, I think, because it came with 2 pieces of this charred collini, which it looks like broccolini or broccoli rabe, but it's actually cauliflower. And it's got more of a greenish tint to it than like white. It looks straight up like skinny broccoli.
It does.
Yeah, it looks like broccoli went on a fad diet and lost all the weight over the summer and is, I don't know, is pool ready or something. But they only put them there to take up space on a plate and add some greenery because there was nothing to them.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like, I mean, I know it's broccoli and cauliflower and you're like, okay, what can you really do to it? But if you roast that right with the proper seasoning, it can be delicious.
100%.
And then this potato pave is this rectangular, it's like a French preparation of these layered potatoes.
It looked pretty.
It looked good.
It didn't taste
It didn't
good.
taste.
Like I was excited to taste it.
I was too.
And it was
I'm
not
expecting
good.
more of like scallop potatoes or like
something.
It just wasn't.
Like the potatoes,
good.
they didn't season the potatoes or something too. Inside,
it was missing a ton of seasoning.
Yeah.
So the dishes the sides that came with the steak were not good to me.
Mm-hmm.
And while the steak was outstanding, I wouldn't get this dish as a whole again. I wouldn't order this again.
Okay.
Based on the sides. I know where I can go get a steak as good as this, or maybe a little better. Flying Fish, Le Cellier, heck, Tiffin's.
Mm-hmm.
When you think of what came on that plate at Tiffin's, that's lick your plate delicious. This was like, I don't even want to finish my plate. So
Yeah.
I was super disappointed in the entrees.
Yeah.
Super duper disappointed. But that steak was good.
Good.
I'd put it up there.
Yeah.
It's not going to be my winner. It's not going to beat out.
Would you do this
some of my
again?
others. Would I do California Grill again? In a heartbeat.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of other stuff that I would get. And again, this is where I'd love to hear from other people that have gone. Have you had the steak here? What did you think? Have you, maybe if they had lamb, or the lamb is very similar to the way that they're doing the fire roasted venison that they, and again, now that we're not staring at the legit menu, which is super frustrating.
Yeah.
Or I'd see if I could swap out. I don't know what I would do differently because I really did enjoy the steak.
Mm-hmm.
Let's move on to desserts because it will end with a very good taste in my mouth. I'll tell you that much. So they do have a Valrhona chocolate ganache torte, and then they've got a spiced panna cotta, or they have a chef's selection of artisanal cheeses.
Still never understand that.
It's still so weird. I mean, I know that our friend Gary over in Scotland, he doesn't like cheese to begin with. He doesn't like charcuteries. I still think it's weird to have. I know that's a thing, but I still think cheese boards is dessert or odd.
Yeah.
The 2 things that we went with were the white chocolate cherry creme brulee, which is an almond chiffon, dark chocolate crema, almond crunch, morello cherry gel, blood orange segments, and then I went with the peanut and banana torte. This is shortbread, peanut ganache, miso caramel, nut crumble, caramelized bananas. This is plant-based. What did you think of the white chocolate cherry creme brulee? Because you're a creme brulee girl.
It was
I'm
fantastic.
the peanut butter and banana guy. So
it was fantastic. It was so good. Like, oh my goodness. Yeah, just smooth and creamy and outstanding.
it was a perfect creme brulee.
It really was.
Yeah. Man, this peanut and banana torte was unbelievable.
It was good.
For me. It
Yeah.
was...
I didn't taste a ton of banana.
Well, it had the bananas. The bananas were on the side. They were, literally there were
'Cause I
bananas
just took
there
a
that were
bite then
caramelized.
of the peanut.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it had several chunks of banana that were caramelized with it. So you really wanted to get some of that banana and then get the whole torte. But I like, it was one of those where I just slowed down to enjoy it all because I was so sad when it was gone. I would get this dessert every time. I mean, looking at a spiced panna cotta and the chocolate ganache torte, I bet they're great. I'd be hard not to get this again pressed. Like,
Nice.
If we go back or whenever we go back and you're like, oh, I want to try a different dessert, I'll be like, cool, I'm getting the peanut and banana torte.
If it's there.
If it's there. I know, because they change things up so often or their menus don't match or whatever, but it just blew my mind.
Nice.
One of my favorite desserts that I've probably
Wow.
had. So I know we just kind of covered it, but overall California Grill experience, was
the
wonderful.
experience was amazing.
Wonderful.
I mean,
we're there with
we
incredible
were
company.
beautiful. Yeah, incredible company. We were beautiful. We were all
dressed up.
beautiful.
Yeah. We got our photos taken. Grand Flow
Yep.
has this wonderful photo spot on the second floor of the lobby there
Mm-hmm.
that has a backdrop. We did it last year for our anniversary. We got awesome photos there.
Mm-hmm.
They have a PhotoPass cast member, scan your band, and you get the photos. Like, it's such a good spot to stop. If you're on the monorail and you're going to go through Grand Floridian, definitely stop here and get photos.
Yep.
But yeah, overall, I'd do this again. I'd do this in a heartbeat. You know, we came out at $200 some dollars.
I did have the blueberry martini, by the way.
Yeah, why don't you talk
blueberry
about that?
lemon
I'm sorry,
martini.
I forgot to mention that one.
No, it's fine. But yeah, it was a blueberry lemon drop martini, and it's 3 olives, blueberry vodka, lemon, and pomegranate juices with a sugared rim for $16.50. And they dropped a couple of blueberries in there, and it was a really, really good one.
Good.
I really enjoyed it very much.
Yeah, I mean, I still love California Grill, and I'll go back easily.
Yeah,
but you know, I hope I have a bad feeling that this is what we're going to see for a very long time. Is this prefix menu, which is fine. Because you have a lot of options, which is great. I miss what they used to have. You know, I miss Rhonda and I going and us just sharing an appetizer, and then getting each our own entree, and then maybe sharing a dessert, or you know. But this is still a top-notch restaurant.
They did that because of the people coming back. Because so when we were sitting watching the fireworks happily ever after, there started people coming and going out on the balcony an hour before.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I looked at my watch and I'm like, what time are fireworks? And Jeremy told me 9. And I'm like, why are they coming like an hour before? Then I realized it's everybody from when it opens at 5 p.m. coming back at 9 o'clock to watch. And I was like, oh. And I wondered if that's why they changed it to the prefix, because it's not like you can come up there, have a drink and an appetizer, and then come back with your ticket.
Well, I think it's knowing absolutely nothing. I think that it is very easy to turn tables over in a sense. You know timing for everything. You know how many guests you can sit in a night. You know, pretty much, even though it's not like the Rapido lunch at, you know, Haleo, where they're like, hey, have lunch in an hour. You know, but I think it's similar. They know that this is what it's going to take, you know, and maybe that's it. I don't know.
I'm just curious.
And it works. It really does. It's just, it's hard to look at something like this. And it's very similar with buffets, but you know, buffets and family style, you're getting so much. So it's easier to stomach. It's harder for me to stomach saying, before I even go into this place, I know that I'm spending a minimum of $90 per person, regardless of that, if that's the amount of food I want to eat, if that, whatever, you know what I mean? And they're not hurting for reservations. They're not hurting for people to come in here, but it's one of the reasons we put it off for so long. You know, I mean, I'll tell you right now, back when we both used to drink, and we would have probably 2 drinks at a meal like this.
Yeah.
You know,
or 3.
Or 3. We're 300 plus out before we ever step foot into the restaurant. So that's always been hard to stomach. Now we're looking at it and go, all right, before we even step foot, we're 200.
Right.
You know, that's just on the meals. We're 200 in. Yeah, we could come here on a regular menu and still spend 200, but you don't have to. And so I think that makes it a little bit harder, but it is a signature fine dining experience. They're delivering on every single thing. Look, the skinny cauliflower and the potato pave didn't work for us.
Right.
It's not to say it doesn't work for other people. It's not to say it wasn't well prepared.
Correct.
It just wasn't for us. Everything else was done so very well, from the service with Mark to the atmosphere to everything. I still think this is one of the best restaurants on property. Mm-hmm. It is way, way up there. And when we have another, to be 100% honest, this was made much easier by the fact that our anniversary fell a week before this, and we had some anniversary money that was going to cover this meal.
Yeah.
And so for us, this was almost like an anniversary present.
Yeah.
So maybe it made it a little bit easier to stomach going, you know what? I've got a $200 Disney gift card. All we're really paying is whatever it is above that.
Yep.
So I love California Grill still.
100%.
So I'm going to go ahead and butt in right now and let you know that I know we mentioned we had several more times to record to get ready to be out of town for the Disney Magic Cruise coming on Thursday through Monday. And if I'm being completely honest with you guys, which I will, we did record another special Mother's Day episode that would come out this Friday. After we got through of about a 25 to 30 minute episode, we both looked at each other. We knew it was not our best. We knew our minds were not enough on the episode, so we decided to completely scrap it. And honestly, we just did not have time to try and re-record or do it again. Due to the fact that we have some things that need to be done around the house before we head out, we still had to pack. We still had to do a bunch of more things to get ready for the work and school week before we go ahead and get out of here. We are going to split this up into 2 episodes, and then when we get back from the cruise on Monday, we will start our trip review recordings for the Disney Magic, which will come to you next Tuesday and Friday. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and you get these brand new episodes twice a week on that Tuesday and Friday. And of course, Rhonda and I would be super thankful if you could please leave us a rating and review, because it really does help our show grow. That's all we've got, and we'll see you real soon.
Jeremy and Rhonda are more than a little fond of Disney World, so they made this podcast to share it all with you. Reports and resorts, top 10 lists of all sorts. Main Street Magic's bringing it home for you.